You are being watched, not by the government, not by cameras. You are being watched by something far more dangerous, the people around you. Every time you open your mouth, every time you answer an innocent question, every time you share a victory or a defeat, you step into a silent arena where status is being measured, where power is being redistributed, and where the next victims are being chosen. And the most brutal truth that nobody tells you is this: you yourself have been painting the target on your own back. You walk through life believing transparency is a virtue. You think being an open book makes you trustworthy. Machiavelli would look at you and say one single word: fool. He wrote a sentence more than 500 years ago that remains true in every bar, every office, every family gathering at this very moment. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few feel what you really are. When you show everything to the world, you are left with nothing. No mystery, no defense, no leverage. Most people destroy their own reputation, not because they are evil, but because they are porous. They leak. They leak emotions, plans, insecurities, and they spill all of it onto the floor for anyone to walk over. Today, I am going to stop that bleeding. By the end of this video, you will understand why silence is the loudest sound that exists in a room full of people, and how to move through a chaotic world like a ghost. Untouchable, unreadable, undeniably powerful. But before anything else, you need to admit one uncomfortable truth. Your need to be seen is exactly what is making you disappear. The mind must be a fortress, but a fortress with the gates wide open is not a fortress. It is a ruin waiting to be looted. I am going to walk you through 8 specific behaviors that are stripping you of your power in public. Some of them you do every single day without realizing it. Some of them you even consider virtues. They are not. They are signals of submission. They are the marks predators look for when choosing who to attack first. When you stop doing these 8 things, the people around you will change the way they treat you. They will stop pitying you. They will stop using you. And some of them will start to feel a small amount of fear in your presence. The first law is the hardest to accept for anyone raised in a world that celebrates the announcement of every plan. Never reveal your next moves. The most addictive drug in the modern world is not chemical. It is validation. And the fastest way to get a hit of it is to announce what you are going to do before you have done anything. I am going to start a business. I am going to start training every day. I am going to leave this relationship. You say these things to taste the sweetness of the achievement without doing the work. The instant you reveal your intentions, you hand over the map to your enemies, and, even worse, to your envious friends. They can prepare to sabotage, to mock, to drop small stones on your path. And worse than that, you dissipate the very energy that should have fueled the execution. You trick your own brain into believing it has already accomplished something. The satisfaction comes before the effort, and when the effort is required, the fuel is already gone. Move in silence. Let your results make the noise. There is a terrifying power in the person who disappears for 6 months and returns with a new body, a new business, a new life. No announcements, no stories, just execution. The lion does not roar before he hunts. He roars after the kill. Let them speculate. Their imagination will always paint a picture more impressive than your reality. The mystery of your potential is your greatest asset. Do not waste it for a few cheap claps at a dinner table. The second law deals with the mistake that quietly destroys reputations. Never lose emotional control. Anger is an emotion. Aggression is a tool. There is a gigantic difference. When you lose your composure in public, when you yell at a waiter, when you start a fight in traffic, you are not showing strength. You are showing that anyone can manipulate you. If a stranger can hijack your nervous system and turn you into a screaming child just because he cut you off in traffic, you are not free. You are a slave to your impulses. Machiavelli taught that the prince must be feared, but never hated. Nothing generates contempt faster than a person who cannot regulate his own emotions. When you explode, you reveal your triggers. An intelligent enemy archives that information and uses it against you at the precise moment it will hurt the most. And here, I need to tell you a real story, because I watched this happen right in front of me, and it became one of the greatest lessons I ever received about how a reputation gets built over decades and gets destroyed in 30 seconds. I worked with 2 colleagues, and the 3 of us were on the same level inside the company. Same role, same routine, until one day, one of them received a promotion, and that promotion changed him. Not in a week, not in a month. It changed him in a few days. He started speaking louder. He started looking down with a certain air of superiority at anyone still on the old level. The title rose to his head before he even knew if he deserved it. One afternoon, the other colleague, the one who stayed with me on the same level, asked a legitimate question about a decision this newly promoted man had made. It was not a provocation. It was a normal work question, asked in front of other people. And he exploded. He started yelling. His voice rose. His face turned red. He completely lost the posture of someone who had just stepped into a leadership role. In a matter of seconds, he transformed what could have been a silent demonstration of authority into a public spectacle of weakness. The people around us started commenting. Not about what he had said, because nobody even remembered the content. They commented about the way he said it. They commented about how the title had clearly gone to his head. They commented about how small that moment had made him look. And in that exact instant, something died inside me. The respect I had for him evaporated. It never came back. When he came to talk to me in the days that followed, I was cold. Polite, but cold. I cut the friendship without ever announcing that I was cutting it. My other colleague did exactly the same thing. He kept thinking he was still our friend. He never understood that he had lost everything in 30 seconds of public weakness, in front of witnesses. Silence is always more intimidating than yelling. The boss who screams when angry is a clown. The boss who falls into deadly silence, who stares without blinking, who whispers when everyone expected him to explode, is a predator. When you feel the fire of rage rising inside your chest, that is the exact moment to freeze. Do not speak. Do not move. Let the other person cook in the awkwardness of your silence. They expected a fight. When you deny them the fight, they end up fighting themselves. They look ridiculous. You look untouchable. The third law is perhaps the most underestimated of all. Never reveal your financial situation. Not upward, not downward. Money is the most sensitive nerve in the human body. If you show that you are poor, the world will treat you with pity, or worse, with invisibility. People walk away from failure because they sense it is contagious. But if you show that you are rich, you invite envy. And envy is the most dangerous emotion of them all. It is the emotion that makes a friend hold a knife behind his back while he hugs you with the other hand. There is no greater danger than outshining the master. If you walk around flashing watches, receipts, trips, money, you are not impressing anyone. You are humiliating the people around you. True wealth whispers. It lives in the quality of the fabric, not in the size of the logo. And here I am going to tell you a real situation that happened to me at work. and it permanently changed the way I speak about money with anyone. A coworker came up to me, casually, and asked how much of a raise I had received. He stated with the most natural tone in the world that he had just received one as well. Since he was already offering me information about himself, I saw no problem in offering mine in return. I told him the amount. I thought it was a fair exchange between two colleagues sailing in the same boat. What I did not know is that the whole thing was a bluff. He had not received any raise. He was fishing. He wanted to know how much I was earning so he could use that information as leverage. A few weeks later, someone from management came to talk to me and asked me privately if I had really told that specific coworker about my raise. I told the truth. Yes, I had told him. And then came the stab. They explained that I needed to avoid doing that because the colleague had used my name as an example to pressure the company. He had walked into management and said, "This guy got a raise this month. He told me himself. And I want one too." He used me as a tool. He used me as proof. He turned me into the argument he needed for his own career. And I did not even notice that I was being used until the whole thing exploded. Every piece of financial information you give away becomes ammunition. It does not matter how friendly the person seems. It does not matter if they offered their information first. It might be fake. It might be a trap. Keep your finances as a black box. Let them guess. Your bank account is a weapon. Keep it holstered until you decide to draw it. The fourth law separates the people who grow from the ones who stay frozen for their entire lives. Never expose your vulnerabilities to anyone who has not earned that right. Modern psychology tells you to be vulnerable, to cry in public, to share your trauma. They call it courage. Machiavelli would call it social suicide. There is a time and a place for vulnerability. It is in the private sanctuary of your home, with people who have earned the right to see your soul. It is not on social media. It is not in a circle of coworkers. It is not on a first date. The world is not a therapy session. The world is a hierarchy. And when you bleed in the water, the sharks do not feel empathy. They feel hunger. If you reveal your deepest insecurities, you are handing over the instruction manual to dismantle you. You think you are connecting. The Machiavellian observer is hearing something completely different. He is hearing, if I want to control this person, all I need to do is threaten to leave. If I want to wound her, all I need to do is make her feel stupid. And I saw this happen with a young man I met. And it became one of the most educational scenes about power that I have ever witnessed. This man was married, but he loved bragging about being a player. He cheated on his wife and made a point of telling that story like it was a trophy. In a circle of colleagues, in one of those moments where alcohol loosens the tongue and the ego inflates beyond control, he let everything out. He told the stories. He listed the parallel conquests. He laughed at his own cynicism. He thought he was looking like the freest man at the table. What he did not notice is that there was another man at that gathering, in silence, listening to every single word. And from that day forward, that other man had him in the palm of his hand. He started asking for favors. He started borrowing money and never returning it. He started missing commitments without offering any explanation. He knew he did not need to justify himself, because in his hands he was holding the weapon capable of destroying the marriage, the reputation, the emotional stability of the other one. The cheater became a hostage of his own mouth. He had bragged about a moral weakness, thinking he was bragging about a virtue. And from that day on, he no longer commanded his own life. He just paid the toll for the silence of the other one. Your sins, your moral failures, your betrayals must die inside of you. Never, in a drinking environment, in a celebration, in a parent friendship, do you vomit that kind of information at the table. The world doesn't forget. The world archives. The king doesn't walk naked among the peasants. He wears the crown and the cloak, not because he is better, but because he represents order. Keep your wounds covered until they become scars. Then, and only then, you can show the scar as a lesson, never as a cry for help. The fifth law is the one that most intelligent people still have not learned, even after taking several knives in the back. Never trust the mirror of flattery without investigating the motive. When somebody starts complimenting you in an intense, repeated, disproportionate way, especially in public, what is happening is not what you think. It is not admiration. It is preparation. It is anesthesia. It is the predator stroking the back of the prey's neck right before the strike. When a coworker starts complimenting you more than usual, ask yourself what he is about to request. When a distant relative starts calling you the example of the family, ask yourself what favor is arriving next week. People with integrity do not flatter. People with integrity respect. Respect is silent, consistent, demonstrated through small actions. Flattery is loud, theatrical, performed for an audience. The wisest people in your life almost never complimented you. They corrected you. They challenged you. The flatterers were feeding you poison disguised as sugar. Learn to refuse the sugar. The sixth law goes against everything the current culture tells you. Never seek approval or validation. This is the deep, hidden, shameful hunger to hear, "Good boy, good girl, well done." We are trained from childhood to seek the approval of authority figures. We perform tricks in exchange for emotional treats. But if you want to be a sovereign adult, you need to kill that instinct at its root. When you fish for compliments, when you keep looking around to see if people are laughing at your joke, when you change your opinion in real time to align with the group, you are handing over your leash. You are saying, "My worth is in your hands." When you stop trying to impress people, a strange thing happens. They start trying to impress you. The one performing the behavior is the low-status one. The one judging is the high-status one. When you ask for approval, you are permanently assigning yourself to the lower seat. The only validation that matters is the reflection in the mirror. Did you keep your code today? Did you execute your plan? If the answer is yes, the applause of the crowd is irrelevant. If the answer is no, the applause of the crowd is a lie. Become immune to praise and to criticism in equal measure. They are two sides of the same coin. Manipulation. If you can be lifted by a compliment, you can be destroyed by an insult. Refuse both. The seventh law creates the most silent enemies without you ever finding out. Never share what you earn, what you achieve, or what you possess. We are not talking only about money. A promotion, a trip, a new house, a new partner, a project that is going well, a compliment from someone important. Every time you share a victory, you are measuring the temperature of envy without realizing it. And you never know which friend, at that exact moment, is going through something difficult, and listening to you talk about your success becomes a silent poison in the relationship. That poison does not appear immediately. It appears 3 months later, when you need help and that person disappears. When gossip circulates and that person does not defend you. Achievement should be celebrated with very few, and even then, in the most discreet version possible. Before telling someone about a victory, ask yourself, does this person gain anything real by hearing this? Or are they only learning a piece of information they can use against me later? Remember the story I told you about the raise. I was not bragging. I just answered a question that seemed innocent. And even then, it became ammunition against me. The information you share about what you have, what you have earned, never returns to you. It walks into the back rooms, and nobody tells you what is being done with it. The powerful man is the ambiguous man. The ambiguous man is the free man. The eighth and final law is perhaps the hardest to accept, because it sounds inhuman, but it is what separates the sovereign from the servant. Never demonstrate that you need something. The moment somebody perceives that you need, the price goes up. Always, in every relationship. Visible need is the invitation for exploitation. If the salesman senses you need that car, the discount disappears. If the company senses you need that job, the salary shrinks. If the person you love senses you need them more than they need you, the respect walks out the door. Need has a smell. Predators sense it from far away. You are human. You need things. But your public expression of that need has to be zero. You walk through the world with the posture of someone who has options. You speak like someone who can leave at any moment. You negotiate like someone willing to lose the deal. That posture is not coldness. It is armor. It is what makes the best opportunities, the best people, the best deals come to you without you needing to chase them. The world is attracted to whatever appears self-sufficient, and it is repelled by whatever appears needy. It is not fair. It is not pretty. But it is how the game works. If you stop doing these 8 things, a vacuum will form around you. You will speak less. You will complain less. You will explain less. You will share less. At first, people will find it strange. They will ask if everything is all right. They will try to provoke you so that the old version of you, the reactive one, the talkative one, the insecure one, comes back. They liked the old version because the old version was easy to read and easy to maneuver. Hold the line. In that silence, you are building gravity. You are becoming a black hole of power. By removing those behaviors, you remove the handles the world used to grab you with. You become smooth, untouchable. You start observing more because you are no longer busy performing. And that is when you finally see. You see the strings on every other person. You see the insecurities, the lies, the desperate need for approval. And once you see the game, you can no longer be played by it. Machiavelli did not teach these things to make you evil. He taught them to make you effective. He wanted you to survive in the court of serpents. The world is loud. Everyone is screaming, "Look at me, validate me, pity me, praise me." Be the one who stays still. Be the one who observes. Be the one who keeps the cards close to the chest. But the moment you seal every leak in your public character, you are going to be left alone with your thoughts. And for most people, that is terrifying. Because when the noise from the outside ends, the noise from the inside begins. The internal voices, the old fears, the ghosts you used to anesthetize with the approval of others, all of them walk back into the room. And now there is no one left to distract you from them. You learned how to protect yourself from the external world. But how do you protect yourself from the internal enemy? How do you reign over your own kingdom when the gates are closed and you are the only one left in the throne room? That is the real battlefield. And that is the battlefield we are going to explore in the next video. Subscribe to the channel because a fortress is useless if the king inside it has gone mad. Adversus omnia, against everything, and above all, against yourself.